On this episode of Enduro Chronicles, we are in Lesotho for the Roof of Africa. Amidst the stunning scenery, riders from around the world are looking to become part of the history of this great event. Last year's winner, Graham Jarvis, is the man to beat. We'll take a look back on what's been an enthralling season of hard enduro action, dominated by the British rider, who'll be coming into the Roof of Africa hoping to secure his 6th win, and with it, the overall title of the 2012 series. Graham Jarvis has dominated this year's hard enduro season. His consistency and skill have driven him into a commanding lead coming into this year's Roof of Africa. But who is this quiet man from Great Britain? And what is it that's driven him to enjoy such success? Jarvis's outlook at the start of the season was optimistic.
Yeah, 2012 is going to be a good year, I think. There's new events coming up, which is good, so you're going to new places and new experiences. But I think there's going to be new riders coming through as well. It's going to make it interesting, but I just know you're just going to have to give 100% and got to enjoy it at the end of the day as well.
Jarvis started out the season in Nantmark Quarry in the UK for the tough one. The Englishman was well equipped to tackle the harsh landscape of the British countryside. His class shone through as he dominated this grueling event, ending up a clear overall winner, with fellow Brits Wayne Brayrock and Ben Hemingway on the podium. The second stop of 2012 took us to Tuscany for Hell's Gate. Jarvis faced a hard battle with fellow Brit Johnny Walker, who pushed him all the way. Jarvis has had mixed results at Hell's Gate in the past, forging a stiff rivalry with compatriot Dougie Lampkin, to whom he lost out to in 2010. However, this year, a determined Jarvis fought his way to the front of the pack to win the event and secure his 2nd victory of the 2012 series. The Roof of Africa is underway with its signature crowd pleaser. Round the Houses is an all-out speed test, pitting the international riders against the South African locals.
The roof kicks off with Round the Houses, which is a 9-kilometer sprint around the tar, 3 laps of a 3-kilometer track, and it's insane.
And it's the locals who dominate this part of the event, with Daryl Curtis and Lawrence Mahoney coming in 1 and 2. With Round the Houses out of the way, the competitors gear up for the time trial.
I personally think this year the South African riders are a bit more prepared for the Roof of Africa, and I think they know where the level are set by Jarvis and Birch and Letty and all those guys, and so I think it's going to be a lot closer racing, and towards the end I think there's going to be a couple of surprises.
The time trial route is relatively short, only 60 kilometers through the flowing lowlands. The reward for speed is grid positioning on the first day of the main event. Mark Torlager is fastest on the day, with 16-year-old Wade Young in 2nd place. Graham Jarvis has a day to forget and ends up finishing in 10th. This is out of character considering his blistering form throughout 2012.
I did get lost a fair bit. I missed a few turn-ins and a minute here, a minute there. So it just shows in this type of event you can't afford any mistakes like that.
Earlier in the week, the guys got to enjoy the exotic South African countryside in a special place called Kwakwa. Riders Paul Bolton and Chris Birch team up with local South African riders Atlas de Wet and William Gillett for some free-riding fun. With 2 wins under his belt, Graham Jarvis was already setting down a strong marker to the rest of the hard enduro pack. The next 2 events would define the series, with Red Bull City Scramble and the Red Bull Hare Scramble coming up. Looking back, Jarvis clearly only had one target on his mind for 2012.
You always just want to get the first few competitions out of the way and then try and hopefully build my fitness up, and I think my main aim for this year is to be on top form for Erzberg.
With a visit to Auckland for the Red Bull City Scramble, Jarvis had to wait to see if his 2012 goal could be achieved. This unique event brought the world of hard enduro to the city streets, allowing the people to witness first-hand action of the enduro stars. Jarvis once again triumphed, beating Paul Bolton to the top spot. Could anything stop Jarvis on his 2012 romp?
Erzberg's the main one, I think, because it's about the only one I haven't won, so yeah, it's the one I really want, and that's what I'm aiming for, the main goal this year. If I could just win Erzberg and nothing else, I'd probably accept that.
Yeah.
But in a season already littered with success, it was not to be for Jarvis, with Erzberg proving to be one of the low points of his 2012 campaign. Missing a checkpoint, Jarvis crossed the line only to find out he'd been disqualified, handing victory to Johnny Walker. Jarvis will have to wait for the 2013 series to begin before he can satisfy this particular dream.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Just getting ready for day 2. Apparently it's like 250 kilometres. I'm like 9 minutes behind the winner, so I'm going to start 9 minutes behind today. So a bit to catch up.
We've got a big day ahead. Time trial yesterday means nothing. Today's where it counts.
Day 2 kicks off with Mark Torlanger in pole position, closely followed by Wade Young. Graham Jarvis has a lot of ground to make up, but he knows when the going gets tough, his skills will give him the advantage. As the competition heats up, the Roof of Africa challenges the top seeds, all of whom struggle with the terrain. Meanwhile, at the front, Wade Young is doing the unthinkable. The 16-year-old has taken the lead and is now 8 minutes ahead of the pack. As expected, however, Jarvis has recovered some form and is now in second, coming on strong. No matter how hard Jarvis pushes, Wade Young's lead is too much, and he crosses the line in first at the end of the day. Jarvis will have to settle for second.
I just felt good. I pushed hard, battled, tough. The heat's killing, but thanks to everyone that helped me out there. When the crowd scream, I get goosebumps. It's awesome.
I've never heard of Wade Young until today, but yeah, he's obviously a fantastic rider.
After Jarvis's disappointing result at Erzberg, he then had to find some form for one of the toughest events in the calendar, Red Bull Romaniacs, facing stiff competition from young British rider Johnny Walker.
I follow Graham, a lot of Graham's results, because he concentrates a lot on extreme races. Obviously I watch to see what he's doing, and I know he's on the bike all the time, so you know, he's a bit like he's an idol to me, but I want to beat him.
Jarvis once again showed his class and looked imperious as he romped to victory, leading the pack from the beginning of day 1 all the way through to the finish line on day 3. Next up for Jarvis was the challenging and unique Sea to Sky in Kamer, Turkey. As with Romaniacs, Jarvis carved out a commanding lead, and coming into the final day, it was only the young Johnny Walker who could challenge him. Walker pushed him all the way, but it was not to be for the young Brit as Jarvis took the win, with Paul Bolton making it an all-British podium in 3rd. A year dominated by Graham Jarvis, but can he make it a near-perfect season and take the win going into the final day of the Roof of Africa? And here it is, the final day. Will history be made, or can Jarvis and the rest of the pack topple the young prodigy?
My plan is just to keep pushing through the day and just try not let Jarvis and the guys see me, and just keep pushing as hard as I can.
The section that will decide this race is called Push Me Pass, the last brutal climb through the Maluti Mountains. Wade Young is out in front and going strong. Jarvis, meanwhile, is busy contending with what's behind him rather than ahead. Altus DeWet is pushing him hard on his shoulders and waiting for Jarvis to slip up. Can he pass him? Eventually, Graham Jarvis makes the mistake that Altus was waiting for and takes a wrong turn, losing his way. But Jarvis fights back, and DeWet and Jarvis are now locked in a close battle for second place. Wade Young is now on his final ascent, and with it, a rewrite of the history books.
So it's a feeling that I can't describe. It's most riders that have won races, big races like that, will know what I'm talking about. And
the next rider across the line is Altus. He holds off Jarvis to claim second place. Jarvis has to settle for third. The rest of the pack takes the checkered flag with a strong contingent of South Africans high up in the rankings. As the rest of the riders follow suit, you realize the finish is the ultimate prize. This race will surely be remembered for the 16-year-old who dared to challenge them all. Jarvis finishes the 2012 series with one of his lowest results, but still takes the overall crown. That's it for this season. We'll see you next year for the first event of 2013, the tough one. Goodbye for now.